Well, hello and welcome to Knife Delights. Folks, it's time for another Saturday Stockman Stampede. That wonderful open tag started by brother Terry. Yep, Terry's Knives and Man Stuff. Thank you, Terry, for starting this terrific open tag. The Stockman pattern is a favorite pattern of many, I know, and it just gives us a chance to show our Stockmans again. Today what we're going to be looking at is 5 different versions of the Buck 303 Cadet. But before we get into that, I just want to take a moment and give a shout out to Pens and Pen Blades. I met this nice young man on RJ's Live here a couple weeks ago. If you haven't seen that show, go back to RJ's Live. You can meet this young man. He ends up he doesn't live that far away from me, just a few hours away, so maybe I'll get to meet him. But isn't it interesting? He loves both knives and like old collectible pens and stuff. So that's that. Keep your pens filled and knives sharp. You bet. Pens and Pen Blades. Go over, check out his channel, and give him a subscription. I think you're going to thoroughly enjoy his channel. Okay, so let's get into the Buck 303 Cadet Stockman pattern. And it is a medium Stockman. The 301 model is the full-size Stockman that Buck makes. And unfortunately, as far as slip joint knives, it looks like Buck, those are the only 2 models that are being made here in the U.S. By Buck themselves. All the other slip joints now are sourced from overseas. So let's start here on one of the older ones here. And you can see right away, you got that French nail pull there, the long nail nick there. I believe this was a Camillus made. Now, on my notes, I wrote down that this was dated in 2006, but I think it's much older than that. I think it's pre-1986, because there is no date symbol on it, and with that long pull on it, I believe this is a Camillus made Buck. I don't know why I put 2006 down. I think it's wrong. But it's an advertising knife. It's got Hubbard on it. And I looked up on the internet, and I got this in an antique store in northern Iowa. And there's a Hubbard company in southern Minnesota, kind of agricultural related type company. So I'm assuming that Hubbard had a bunch of knives made by Buck for advertising. So, same basic blades. They all got the same blades. You got your clip point. You got your sheep's foot. And you got your spade blade. And as you can see, this one has been used. And it looks like typical farmer fashion. It looks like it was sharpened using a, a grinding wheel. Yep. So this is probably the oldest then 303 that I have. So we'll go over the blade steels. Now, you have to do your own research and don't take this verbatim. So I'm just going to say roughly. And I say roughly because we don't know what blade steel Camillus used. If they made that knife, it would differ from what Buck used. Also, there's some controversy on, did Buck switch blade steels at the same time for both their slip joints and their fixed blades? So you see there's a lot of different factors. So roughly, before 1981, Buck used 440C. And then from 81 to 93, they used 425M. And from 1993 forward, they use 420HC. And of course, they have that wonderful Boz heat treatment. So just a little bit of history on the steel. Do your own research. Okay, next one here is I have a Buck with the rosewood. It's called Dymolux Rosewood. And just a very nice looking knife. See that hollow grind there? Let me see on this one here, what kind of a grind. I have a flat grind on this one. Buck used to use a flat grind. I don't know if any of these have the flat grind on it or not. But just a, dressed up one, fancy looking one. Now I'm going to tell you right away, I am disappointed with the snappability on these. Like this sheep's foot blade, wonderful blade. It's very weak. And I have found that on some of the buck's slip joints, and I don't know why that is. But see here, yeah, this one is a newer one. This is from, when was this one? This was from 2019. And you can see Buck started using 3 springs so that the sheep's foot comes out opposite. So it's sandwiched in between them other 2 springs and gives a nice 90-degree angle. Let's see. Let's look at, well, yeah, we can look at this one. Most Stockmans are made with 2 springs, like this Camillus made one, and the sheep's foot comes out the same end. So it's a little bit different on the buck, the newer buck ones here. So there's one in rosewood. Now I checked the buck website. You can still find the 303 Cadet with the black Velox. And let me see. Now this is full retail price off the buck website. It's $69.99, and they have some in stock. They do show the rosewood version, but they say they're out of stock on those, so I don't know if they're going to keep making these or not. You can always check all the secondary stores, see if some store might have them in stock yet. Okay, this one here was a new old stock. Okay, this one has the flat grind on it. This is a new old stock from 1995. And it is in mint condition. I've got the box for it. And let me see. Nope, this still has the 3 springs. When was it that they switched it? So this version still has the 3 springs to it. Now the 303 seems to be, like I said, it's a medium Stockman. The 301 is the full size. This 303 Stockman, I think, was a very, very popular pattern. Okay, here's one here, and we start to see the hollow grind on it. And let me see, what is this one? This one has kind of the square C symbol right next to the 303. So that would make this one from 1999. Yep. Yep, 3 springs to it. Now, this was an antique store find, so it's been used, but it's still in pretty decent shape. And then, yeah, there's no snap on this one, and I haven't oiled it or tried to work with it any. I might get some snap back on that one. And lastly, we got one here from 2001. Again, another antique store find. It's been used. It's a little beat up, but that's all right. Just shows that somebody enjoyed their knife. Yep, hollow grind. You can see the difference in the nail nicks from the Camillus made. One-sided swedge on both of them. And of course, Camillus used a little bit different clip point on theirs too. Now, I don't know if we're missing some of the blade on the end or not, but yeah, the clip point was just a little bit different. Yep. Well, I just love these old buck slip joint knives, kind of nostalgic. See that Camillus one? It's got, even though it's old, it's got decent snappability, as Terry would say. And I need to get it oiled up better. Well, the 303 model, just a few quick stats here. The close length is 3 1/4 inches. The clip blade is 2 1/2 inches. The sheep's foot is 1 3/4 inches. And the spade blade is 1 11/16 inches. And it weighs 1.9 ounces. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this look at my Buck 303 Cadet collection. It's fun finding these and to get different models from the different years. That's kind of what I strive for. So, yeah, there we go. 5 Buck USA made 303 Cadets. Now down here in the right hand corner, I'll put a link to my Buck Knives playlist, that big round knife delights. So I just hit that if you'd like to subscribe. And down in the lower left hand corner, well, that's just the next video YouTube thinks you should watch. So until next time, have a very delightful day.